Hi guys, and welcome back to the Crochet YouTube channel. Today we will be doing another pattern review, and I'm actually very excited about this one because I literally just finished it like half an hour ago, and I felt really inspired to do this video for you guys, and I honestly can't remember the last time I uploaded, so there you go. So today's pattern review is going to be of the super cute Sleepy Dragon. Look at him. He's adorable. I love it so much. Now, the pattern is actually called Bratt the Dragon, and it's by an artist on Etsy called Madelenon. I believe that's how you say it. I have all the information here in front of me on my trusty iPad. So this is a paid pattern that I got on Etsy for $5.50. It's a pattern that I had seen many times before on Pinterest. I even saw it on Etsy in like my recommendations or whatever. And I'm sorry if you hear a dog barking, that's my dog. But since I kind of built my crochet community and blog and everything around doing pattern reviews, because patterns are something I'm really passionate about, and I love doing patterns and seeing how different each artist does, like what they do to create their patterns. It's amazing. So since I kind of made my business around that, I have since been able to treat myself to more paid patterns than I normally would, which is really nice. So yes, this is for $5.50 on Etsy, which I don't think is bad at all, especially having gone through the pattern. There are a few things that I want to talk about in the pattern and everything, so we're gonna get right into it. So my dragon turned out a lot bigger than the original pattern intended. This is because the pattern originally calls for fingerling yarn, which is actually a really thin yarn, and a crochet hook size of 2mm. I liked how small the dragon in the pattern was, but I also wanted a bigger one that I could kind of cuddle with at night, so I decided to go with Red Heart Super Saver worsted weight yarn and a 3.75mm hook. Yeah, I love how he turned out. I love the colors I chose. I just used white, baby blue, and kind of a smoky gray, like a light smoky gray. And the dragon in the pattern is named Bratt, which is a little weird. I decided to name mine Steel. So everyone meet Steel. I love him. So yes, looking at the abbreviations, the only kind of different things or techniques that you'll need to know are working in the front and back loops, which is a pretty easy technique to pick up if you've never done it. Just Google a YouTube video or just look up like they have all these like charts and sheets on images on Google. There's a 4 double crochet cluster, which is used to make his nostrils right here. And yeah, there's also a double increase, which isn't 4 single crochet in one stitch, it's 3. So instead of doing the 2 stitches to increase, you'll do 3. That's what the double increase is. And then everything else is simple. It's just chain, slip stitch, single crochet, and increases and decreases. The only other materials you'll need other than the 2mm crochet hook and the fingerling yarn is just stuffing, pins and stitch marker, yarn needle, and scissors. Pins are very, very helpful, very useful. I highly recommend using them every time you sew. It's changed my life and my technique of sewing, and I think it's really helped me improve on that. So getting into the pattern, she also lists exactly what kind of yarn she used and what colors. I believe there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 5 colors that you'll use. And yeah, let's get into like how the dragon is made, like what parts you have to sew and everything. So the the head, the body, and the tail are all are all made in one piece. So once you finish the body, it kind of looks like a giant worm. It's a little weird, but it comes to life, as you can see. And I actually was very impressed by how she got the shape so perfect, having done it in one large piece. And I do think that sewing these pieces together would have taken away from the kind of like laying down, sleeping look. And the way you do it is that you crochet the bottom fairly flat, and then you create the bumps to make the head, the body, and then slowly decrease to make the tail. The only issues I really had with the body was when it came to this end part towards the tail. As you can see, the tail is a little wonky right here. Once you got to this part of the pattern, it was a little unclear and my stitch counting was off. But it wasn't my stitch counting. I think the pattern had a stitch counting error because I had the correct amount of stitches at the end of the row like it said, but in the row line of the pattern it was about 2 stitches off, and you could tell by counting the stitches that it was a little off. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but I don't think it takes away from the look too much. That was really the only issue I had with the body. Yeah, and she even included like where to start stuffing and all of that. So the body it came out to be like this kind of long worm. It was really interesting. So once you finish with the body, the snout is also included in the body. So you start on the snout and work down. I thought she had a very clever use of the 4 double crochet cluster to do the snout. These are like kind of open, but if you decide to do the pattern, you'll see how she does it, and it's actually really cool. And I'll say right off the bat, the way that she really understands like shaping amigurumi to make it what it is, and that was really interesting to see. After you're done with the body, then you work on the front legs, which are these little stubby guys, and then you do the cheeks, then you do the hind legs, the ears, the horns, the wings, and then you do the spikes, or what did she call them? Yeah, she called them spikes down the back. Pretty straightforward with everything else. I didn't really have an issue with anything else. My only thing is that the pattern does include pictures, which is always nice, and it does include a fair description of each picture, but the pictures in the PDF came out a little fuzzy. So I did at one point have to go to the pictures to see what she was kind of talking about, especially working on the wings. When it comes to doing the bottom, these kind of like spiked areas, it gets a little confusing, so I looked at the pictures and they were fuzzy, but I could kind of tell what was going on and what I was doing, and using my crochet brain, I figured it out. But yeah, after you do all of that, and then you sew it all together. I will say I wish she had included more pictures in the sewing part, and I wish that she had included more description of how to sew. She includes where to sew, like between like how many stitches to sew, like between 17 and 12, or how like rows, I mean. But when it came to the arms, she just said to sew them. She didn't say which way, because as you can see here, this is bent in a little bit, and this is kind of pointed out. And looking in, I had to look at like the cover picture and the last picture that's in the pattern to see if I was sewing them right. And I eventually just kind of threw all things out the window, and I was like, I'm going to sew it the way I like it because I didn't know how she did it in the pattern. So I ended up sewing it so that this part of the arm kind of flattered the curve of the body and the head right here. And then the hind legs I sewed so that when he's laying down, it just kind of looks like he plopped on the floor. And the way I sewed it, I can also move him forward so that he's laying like this. So I ended up sewing it the way I wanted to, and I actually really liked it. Another thing is that you make 10 spikes to go along the body. So you do 3 on the head, 4 on the body, and then 3 on the tail. I did not use an extra horn because I didn't like how close together the spikes were. So instead of doing 4 on the body, I just did the 3 and I spread them out more evenly, because the first spike was initially like right in the corner right here. It was kind of like hitting this one, and I didn't care for how it looked, so I had an extra spike. But yes, like I said earlier, pins really help with sewing. To make sure everything was even on the face and everything, I decked him out in pins and everything, and especially doing the spikes. When you sew the spikes, I would suggest planning them all out and using pins, and then I would start from the head and go to the tail, because once you got to the tail and started sewing these ones, it was a little more difficult because they're smaller and it's a smaller area to work on. So I feel like if you had started from the tail, you would have just been bumping all of these ones around and gotten them all mixed up and everything. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to him. I loved this pattern. I had wanted to get it for quite a while, and I'm glad that I did. And I now have a new cuddle buddy, and I totally recommend you guys check this pattern out. I will have it linked below because it's adorable, and whether you make it bigger or smaller, it was very easy to adjust the size, and I feel like you could really experiment with it, and like even if you wanted to, you could get like the super bulky yarn and a giant hook and just make a big one. I kind of want to do that now that I have the idea. But yeah, this is Steele. I hope you guys love him, and I hope you guys check out the pattern. Just a phenomenal job, like I said, manipulating the stitches in a way to create these shapes and to get him to look like a dragon. Yeah, the only issues that I had with the pattern is I wish the photos were more clear. I wish the sewing instructions were more clear and had pictures. And yeah, I just wish she had a little more instruction so you weren't, because sometimes I was just sitting there like, how am I going to do this? And then I ended up doing it the way I wanted to instead of how the pattern intended, which I kind of liked how I really liked how his legs turned out. Like I said, he can sleep either way. All I did was I just sewed the top part so that it moved, and yeah. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you like this pattern. Please go check it out. It's really cute. I fell in love with it, and I even saw the dream what was happening. I've discovered that when I start a project and I show it to people, like, this is gonna be so awesome, this is gonna be so cute, and they're just like, I don't know what you're doing, I don't know what's going on. Because even when I had started the snout and the head, I could already see it in my head, and I was like, when I was telling my mom, I was like, it's gonna be so cute. She's like, I don't know what you're doing. So yeah. On to the next part of my video where I tell you guys what's going on in my crochet world and what projects that I've been working on. So I recently just finished this really cute little pattern of a little summer doll in her bathing suit. I named her Stella, but on my blog she's just called Summer Doll Pattern. And she's just so cute. I love her. I love the way she turned out. I had the vision in my head, and I'm so glad it turned out the way I like it. So other than that, I've just been working on some blog posts for you guys. I have a few other pattern ideas for the summer, and then I'll get into my fall and winter patterns that I'll be working on. And I started my Whale Shark 2.0. If you've ever seen my Instagram, I started a whale shark a little while ago, and I hope to have him done in a little bit and do a pattern review of that, because I know you guys are going to love him if you liked my giant whale pattern review. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video or you like me or my channel, please consider subscribing. I think we're up to 31 subscribers, which is crazy, and thank you to all of you who have subscribed and continue to stick around and watch my videos. If you would like to visit my blog, it has free patterns, it has a stitch dictionary which shows you how to do some basic stitches, and it's something that I am constantly updating every day. Or not every day, but every once in a while. There's also some like beginner helpful posts on there, and I'm trying to update it as much as I can on my blog. It's crittercrochet.com. I'll also have that linked below. And I hope to have a written pattern review of him done fairly soon, because I like to do my written pattern reviews and I also have my video pattern reviews. And yeah, I will have all of my socials linked below. If you would like to help support me or my small business, go check them out, give me a follow or a like. And yeah, I hope you guys have had a good day and hope you have a good rest of your week. And good luck with any projects you might be working on, and happy crafting until then. So bye guys.